Greenland, the world's largest non-continental island, is about 3 times larger than the state of Texas. Despite the common perception of it being completely covered in ice, around 20% of Greenland is, in reality, relatively green, allowing for potential habitation. However, only about 56,000 people reside on this vast island, making it the least densely populated region worldwide. And so the question arises, why do so few people live in Greenland? And what's the reason behind its name green despite its icy nature? Today, we're delving into Greenland, the largest island in the world. Our focus is on understanding why such a vast island has a sparse population. While the answer may seem straightforward, there are unexpected geographic factors beyond the simple description of ice that we'll explore. Greenland's history. Underneath Greenland, the largest non-continental island on Earth hides a remarkably rich history. This history mirrors the uniqueness of its geography, where the relentless Arctic Ocean meets the North Atlantic Ocean, and the landscape is dominated by ice. The earliest inhabitants of Greenland were Paleo-Eskimo peoples, also known as the Sac, believed to have arrived around 2500 BC near present-day Disco Bay. The Sac was followed by the Dorset culture around 800 BC, and then the Thule culture around 1 AD. These indigenous peoples, the ancestors of today's Greenlandic Inuit, were skilled hunters who adeptly adapted to the harsh Arctic environment, hunting marine mammals such as seals and whales, and navigating icy terrains using sleds and kayaks. The first recorded European to visit Greenland was the Icelandic Viking Eric the Red, who, as per sagas, landed on the island around 982 AD. After exploring Greenland for several years, Eric returned to Iceland and promoted the island's potential for settlement. This promotion succeeded, leading Eric to lead a group of colonists back to Greenland in 986, where they established settlements on the southwest coast known as the Eastern Settlement and the Western Settlement. These Norse settlements prospered for centuries, engaging in activities such as farming, hunting, and trading ivory from walrus tusks. However, by the 1400s, the Norse colonies mysteriously disappeared, with theories suggesting reasons from climatic changes to economic isolation and the conflicts with the Inuit. It took a few hundred more years before Europeans again became involved with Greenland. In the 1600s, the King of Denmark and Norway sent an expedition to reaffirm their claim to the island, marking the start of a new era of European interest in Greenland. This interest was primarily driven by the pursuit of whaling and the fur trade. Over time, Denmark established a colonial presence on the island, which lasted until the 1900s. Presently, Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, with the majority of its population being Inuit. Greenland's geography. Greenland, often thought of as a vast expanse of ice and snow, actually has a geography that challenges this icy reputation. While it is primarily recognized for having the world's second largest ice sheet next to Antarctica, Greenland also showcases unique landscapes in areas not covered by ice. Recent findings have unveiled fascinating features beneath the ice, potentially including the world's largest canyon. The Greenland ice sheet, which blankets approximately 80% of the island, is an immersed layer of ice, exceeding a mile in thickness in some locations. This ice sheet plays a crucial role in the global climate system, significantly contributing to rising sea levels due to climate change. If all the ice in Greenland were to melt, estimates suggest that sea levels could increase by as much as 25 feet. The ice is consistently in motion, flowing outward from the island's center, forming dynamic glaciers that release icebergs into the ocean. Yet, the parts of Greenland not covered by ice, accounting for approximately 20% of the island's total area, offers a distinct landscape. These areas are primarily situated along the rugged, fjord-indented coast, with the south and west coasts being the most ice-free regions and hosting the majority of Greenland's population. This region experiences a relatively mild Arctic climate, enabling limited agricultural activities such as sheep farming and even small-scale vegetable farming in sheltered locations. The coastal areas also harbor a tundra biome, where resilient species of mosses, lichens, and low-growing shrubs thrive. The wildlife in these areas includes Arctic foxes, hares, and various bird species that migrate to Greenland during the short summers. While the above ice geography of Greenland captivates, what lies beneath the ice is equally intriguing. A significant discovery reveals a complex topography of mountains, valleys, and plains. A recent finding uncovered a Grand Canyon stretching almost the entire length of Greenland, potentially guiding the flow of ice toward the sea. Whether above or below the ice, Greenland's geography is extreme, posing a considerable challenge for those who chose to call the island home. Greenland's population. Presently, Greenland, despite its expansive size, stands as one of the world's least densely populated regions. While the island's harsh climate does contribute to this sparse population, other factors also play a role in its relatively low inhabitant count. To start, Greenland's extreme climate significantly limits habitable areas, with approximately 80% of the land covered in ice. In comparison, countries like Iceland, Norway, and Sweden, situated at similar latitudes and experiencing cold climates, boast larger ice-free and habitable regions. The Gulf Stream in the ocean, which moderates the climates of Norway and Sweden, does not exert the same influence on Greenland, as it is located just north of its primary flow. Furthermore, Greenland's geographic isolation between the Arctic and North Atlantic Oceans hinders access to the outside world. This historical isolation has impeded migration and trade opportunities, concentrating the majority of Greenland's population on its west coast, close to Canada. In contrast, Norway and Sweden have long been vital components of European trade routes, and Iceland, despite its isolation, has established strong air and sea transport connections with both Europe and North America. From an economic standpoint, Greenland encounters limitations when compared to its Nordic counterparts. Its economy heavily relies on fishing, lacking diversification. The challenging climate and permafrost practically eliminate agriculture, restricting food production and variety. Infrastructure development in Greenland is a significant challenge, incurring high costs due to the rugged terrain and harsh climate, which affects both the quality of life and economic opportunities. Creating connections between isolated communities through fjords and challenging climates is costly. In contrast, other Arctic regions like Alaska face the need for frequent road repaving. As of today, Greenland is inhabited by just over 56,000 people, earning it the title of the least densely populated region globally. The capital, Nuuk, houses approximately 18,000 Greenlanders on the west coast, followed by Sisimiut with 5,500 residents, Ilusiat with 4,600, and Qaqortoq with slightly over 3,000 people. The remaining population of Greenland is dispersed across smaller towns and villages, mainly situated on the western and southern coasts. The names Greenland and Iceland have puzzled people for centuries because they appear to contradict the actual features of these places. Greenland, mostly covered by an extensive ice sheet, is not green for the majority of the year. In contrast, Iceland, despite having glaciers, also boasts green valleys, hot springs, and geothermal areas. The origins of these names involve a mix of historical, cultural, and possibly marketing considerations by early Norse settlers. The story of Greenland's name begins with the Norwegian Viking Eric the Red, who, according to Icelandic sagas, was exiled from Iceland around 982 due to murders he committed. Upon returning from exploring a vast icy land, Eric recruited settlers for this new territory. It is believed that he intentionally named it Greenland to make it sound more appealing than it actually was. Although the southern coast of Greenland, where Eric settled, does display some greenery during the brief summer, the name was likely exaggerated to attract more settlers to join the venture. Iceland's naming tale is somewhat simpler, but still carries ironic elements. The saga indicates that a Viking named Hrafnafloki, also known as Floki Viljardarson, bestowed the name Iceland upon the land. In contrast to Eric the Red, Floki had an unfavorable experience after a harsh winter. Upon climbing a mountain and seeing a fjord filled with icebergs, he named the land Iceland. This choice contrasts with the relatively green and fertile valleys that characterize much of Iceland, especially during the summer. Despite their seeming mismatch with geographic realities, these names, selected by Norse settlers, have endured through the centuries. Some historians and linguists speculate about a possible mix-up or deliberate name swap as part of Viking humor or storytelling tradition, but there is no concrete evidence to support this theory. Greenland is indeed cold and icy, but the reasons for its sparse population extend beyond its frozen scenery. Factors such as settlements facing Canada, the lack of moderating influence from the Gulf Stream, geographic isolation, limited economic opportunities, and difficult infrastructure development all play a role in Greenland's current population distribution. Unless notable changes happen, Greenland is likely to have a persistently low population in the coming years. And that concludes our video. I hope you enjoyed learning more about Greenland. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. While you're at it, ring that notification bell as well to keep posted for upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.